Snow White and Disney and Rachel Zegler are in the news again, and of course, for all the wrong reasons. And what I mean by the wrong reasons, I don't mean it from Disney's perspective or the movie's perspective or the people who were associated with the movie. I'm talking about from our perspective, for the people who are opposed to this kind of brainwashing and pushing this agenda. So let's just say what we collectively call the right-wing commentators. And everybody's more or less is saying the same thing, that go woke, go broke, and they're gonna lose so much money, and they don't care, and they don't realize, and they're stupid, or they're just stubborn. And in my opinion, this is patently false. Even Mark Dice, whom I respect a lot, I've been watching his videos at least since 2012, maybe even before. A very, very good commentator. Actually, the other day he mentioned that he got hooked on politics because of Michael Savage's show, which used to be my favorite show. In early 2000s, 2099, 2001, 2, something like that. He had a phenomenal show. Actually, it went on for a good amount of time. But anyway, what I think that everybody is either skipping or not getting or not touching upon is that Disney couldn't care less. They don't care how much money they lose. They don't care how much money the shareholders lose. First of all, fiscally, it doesn't matter for them because they're owned by one of these huge, gigantic conglomerates, Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street. So they can lose money endlessly. It doesn't matter because they always have their coffers full. That's number one. Number two, these are huge, gigantic hedge fund managers. So they knew already going into the movie that they would lose money. They just shorted it. They short the market. They do something to go against it. And whether the money comes in or they just lose money, they still end up making money, right? On the stock or the commodity exchange, the indexes exchange side. They just short the index where it is, or maybe it's even independently traded that way, and they just short it and make money. So they couldn't care less. But let's just say, even if they lost money, they couldn't care. If you noticed in the past number of months, the media just brazenly lies. They tell you that black is white and white is black, and they just look you straight in the eye. They don't even conceal it. They lie with affront. Why is it? It's because they understand that at this stage the public has already reached a point that they choose sides already going into the news cycle. So if they hate Trump and hate Elon Musk, and on this side of the aisle, they couldn't care less what truth is. They just need to have the lines of the talking points being fed to them, and they're gonna run with it. Years ago, and I actually told you this in a different video, there used to be a salesman who used to pop into our office pretty often, almost on a weekly basis, and he was another music maniac, just like myself, and we always used to talk. He used to come into the office. Part of my job was to be the gatekeeper to the boss. So a lot of people wanted to talk to the boss. He wanted to be alone. He was busy, and so my office was situated in a way that you had to go through my office to get into the boss. So you couldn't just go straight. But anyway, so this dude used to pop in. And the door was exactly the way that I'm looking at you. So imagine the door is behind you. In other words, whoever came into my area saw me right away. If I was at my desk looking at my computer, I saw whoever came in through the door, right? There were over there were a couple of printing machines and God knows what. And then here the door was right away. So this dude used to come in. And we used to shoot the breeze, hey, blah, 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 King Crimson and Rush and Motorhead and ta-ta-ta. He was a guitarist, he made a CD. Anyway, so one day he comes in, he says, hi, how are you? And I'm just looking at some news something, and obviously it was something music related. And so I mentioned something regarding that article that had a big chunk of it dedicated to the Beatles. So he goes, and the Beatles, just overrated and nothing. But instinctively, without even paying attention to what he was doing, as he was saying that, he took a quick look behind his shoulder. Okay? This business had nothing to do with music whatsoever. He didn't have to do professionally with music, right? He was a salesman. He used to come in and offer his services and his products to us, right, for the business. It was all financial. Had nothing to do with the big music magazines or distribution, completely disconnected. And yet, this thing has trickled so much into the public's psyche that saying something negative about the Beatles, which is a stupid entertainment, right? It's a pop band. Even if you're a big fanatic, it doesn't matter. People are afraid to say something bad. If you go to any large social gathering, so you can do it on your own, and theoretically you could do it professionally, right? And do a survey. You ask people, what's the greatest band ever on earth? 95% of respondents going to do the Beatles. Why? Because they've been conditioned to say that and think that. Now go to very same people and ask them, when's the last time that you actually listened to the Beatles? That you went to the shelf and took off a CD or record, or put on your iPad, iPod, the MP5, 6, 4, whatever they have today electronically, digitally. When did you, for the last time, not walk into the supermarket or took the bus, or I don't know what, when you fire up your car, you have the radio blaring. But when did you consciously go ahead and put on a Beatles song? And the very same people will say you practically never, 5 years ago, 3 years ago. And I did that in many settings. I had in a different work, I had another guy in our office who also liked music a lot, but he was, the Beatles are great. So I started telling him this song, that song, Strawberry Field, Yellow Submarine, all of their famous songs, and all of them. Okay, that happens to be a stupid song. Oh, that one happens to be a stupid song. That one happens to be a stupid song. But have you ever heard Helter Skelter, which is also just stupid noise, but whatever. So you get the point. The public has been brainwashed to an extent that they're afraid, or they cannot imagine saying something that goes counter the narrative. So even now, or actually now, the media, especially the legacy and mainstream media, have reached a point that they have completely zero regard for the truth, because they just tell you what they want you to repeat, and you go ahead and repeat it. And that's really the problem with Snow White. That's exactly what happened. They knew that they would not have an audience. They knew that they were going bankrupt, right? In the immediate with the movie ratings and the sales and packing of the cinemas, right? They knew that they were going to lose money, and yet they went ahead with the project, going into it, because they signal to their base, which includes the most fanatic, the most rabid layer of the population, that no, we're not backing down, and Robbie Starbuck and the entire public be damned, we're going with this full force. We're going to continue DEI, we want to keep whitophobia, racism against white people, and pushing hatred and pushing diversity, which really means just bringing in third world uneducated people to do the cheap jobs and take away the jobs from white middle class Americans, right? And they knew, and this was the program, and it does something else more subtle. It moves the Overton window, because had you asked me 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I would have told you that the initial Snow White, the cartoon, is crap. That's something that I would not have wanted my children to watch. I would have wanted them to read the book and imagine that for themselves. So Disney animations are horrible from going back as far as history goes. Ironically, the cartoons from the Eastern Bloc, from USSR and wherever they made them, Yugoslavia, Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Hungary, Romania, I don't know, some of these countries had cartoons were way more decent. It had some sort of artistic value. It was way better made than the Western ones. But anyway, that's a whole different discussion, right? but I would have told you that Bambi and Snow White and all of this, the original, is not something that you should show your children. It's disgusting, it's horrible. But now they made the public to accept that and be against the new modern version of Snow White, which is ridiculous. So that's pretty much what it is, and of course we didn't get here in one step. This started already a long time ago. And actually, for a while, I've been thinking of making a video about the beginning of hatred, the beginning of trickling this poison. Of course, it didn't start in one day and with one movie, and it's been ongoing since a very long time, 40s, 50s, 60s, definitely. But to me, the movie that signifies the shift in creating hatred and division was A Few Good Men. Very, very good movie. Watch it. And that movie was very good at subtle propaganda, at subtly putting hate against the United States, against the military, and glorifying these cheesy, cute little, unprincipled characters. But that's going to be a story for another day. So I think that collectively, the right bloc, whether it's big con or little con, who are always in conflict, because of course on the right you always have to fight and you always have to air your dirty laundry in public. But I think that they're focusing on the wrong points. They're all focusing on, oh, it's so woke, and that they took a brown girl instead of a white girl, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I get it. It's not that it's untrue. But the point is that the media now, with affront, is lying to you. And even when they're losing money, they don't care. They signal to their base, to the most fanatic, most violent base, that no, we're going, just because there was a little bit of pushback against DEI and against all of these whitophobia and this racism, and bringing in here, turning the United States and the Western world into a third world, it doesn't matter. They're not gonna back down. So in other words, all of Robbie Starbuck, those who don't know, Robbie Starbuck is a very, very cool guy. I love him a lot. He's the one who started a very strong and very efficient pushback against the visible parts of DEI in big corporations like Target and Walmart, and he went after a lot of big corporations and with a lot of success. So mega kudos to him. But the fact of the matter is that from top, the most powerful people are signaling you, Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street, Disney, that no, we're not backing down, and DEI is the way, and even if we jump off the cliff, we're going to jump off the cliff, or we're going to pretend to jump off the cliff, because obviously these people will not jump off the cliff. The shareholders, people who invest in the stock, might fall down. So when you see the next woke DEI straddle movie, know that you should short the market, because that's what the parent companies will do to shield themselves. And also pay attention to these things that are not so obvious and not out in the open. But this is definitely a dog whistle to their base to continue with the violence, to continue with the hatred, and this signifies what they say with the release of Snow White: we're not backing down. And I can't believe that people, even from our camp, not the core of the camp, but some from our people are like, oh my God, they're attacking Rachel Zegler. She's an adult. She can make her own decisions. She did it for money, and she very callously and conceitedly, with contempt, she attacked the audience, the people who would come watch the movie. So she simply reaps what she sows. I see no reason whatsoever to stick up for her. She makes billions and billions of dollars at a very young age. She had a choice. So just remember to scratch a little bit the surface and look below and look what's underneath it. And that's all I had today. And until the next time, be well, be good, be in good health, and keep rocking on and on and on and on.